So I appreciate, you just yelling at me. Alex, first of all, my name is Alex Cervasio. So yell Alex all you want. To kind of introduce myself, I've been in digital marketing for over 10 years now. I've had my own consultant company. We deal with NBA players, NFL players, college basketball, college football coaches, authors, law firms, you name it, individual brands. In the past couple years, I met this guy, and we went from doing traditional businesses to over the commercial real estate space. I focus on executives, I focus on individual brands. So whether you're a coach, whether you're an NBA athlete, whether you're a New York Times bestselling author, motivational speaker, or a commercial real estate executive, it's all the same. There's always different goals that everyone has, and there's always different ways to get there. So digital has been great for us because it connects us, it unifies us, and also it delivers business goals with a distinct ROI. Now, we'll get into it here. Most of your business is relationship-based. It's, going to happy hours, going to conferences like this, calling people up, going to foundation events, whatever it might be, is a lot of person to person. But as we've seen, unfortunately, this past year, that human-to-human interaction is not always there. So this is funny because this presentation I actually gave similar one in 2019 at SiteSorts San Diego, which was before COVID, which is basically warning everyone, hey, you need to do this stuff now before your competition does. And lo and behold, COVID hit. And I think a lot of people might view what we have to say today a little differently because of the past year. And maybe you didn't view digital and marketing and all that stuff maybe in the greatest of lights, but I'll get to it. So really, this whole thing is about maximizing you. At the end of the day, if we can maximize you and your individual brand, that will lead directly to business goals for you and your firm. So I'll start out here. This is the 20th century model. Like I mentioned, you guys go to happy hours, you go to conferences, you see people around town. It's all relationship-based in person for the most part. Now, this is the 21st century model. You can run your whole business from your phone. You don't have to see anyone in person really anymore. I think we've learned that the past year. There's only a few things here and there that you actually have to go and be on site for. So this runs your whole life. And whether you want to admit it or not, it's probably in your hand a little bit too much. In the past 2 years really, people have kind of bought in like, okay, I need to get on board with this a little bit more. So that's kind of why we're here today. So how do you stay in business the next year? How do you stay in business this year? Did you stay in business through COVID? What happens if this happens again? What if there's more lockdowns? All this stuff, that has nothing to do with COVID. This is all about planning for the future, riding future trends that other industries have kind of taken advantage of. And speaking with Dave, speaking with other industry executives, maybe the digital side hasn't really caught up to where other industries are, other verticals. So, constant battle for attention. You have your phone, you've got Instagram, you've got Netflix, you probably have kids, you got golf, you have all these activities. Your day is a constant battle for attention. Whether it's professional attention, whether it's family attention, whether it's personal, whatever it might be, you only have a certain amount of time in the day to get not only your own attention, but to capture your competitors, your clients, other people in your orbit. So this is probably going to be shocking to some of you. And if you could answer this real quick, I know I'm putting you on the spot. How many minutes do you think you spend online as part of your CRE business a day? Anyone? Yell it out.
Online or on CRE business?
Online, like on your phone or on a computer. CRE though, for what you're doing in terms of deal flow and clients and getting sites and all that stuff. A couple hours a day? Well, the reason I ask that is because the average business person spends almost 4 hours a day on their phone. And once a day or more, people will use their phones obviously to text. They obviously use their phone to call. Not as much anymore. It's all text and email based or Slack. But this is the overwhelming thing that kind of shocks people, that you're on your phone, and whether you want to admit it or not, you're on some form of social media or interaction. And that might not be you, but this is just the general business population. So 72% are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Now it's TikTok, Snapchat it might have been. Not for everyone, but one of those two a day. So here, like I said before, this is what you used to do. You used to talk in front of people, happy hour, all this stuff. And now the happy hour has gone online. And I work with a lot of clients in a lot of industries, as I mentioned. I don't necessarily recommend one platform over the other. It's all based upon who your audience is, who you're trying to reach. So for your audience, it's B2B. I have clients that are B2C. They're trying to reach customers. So Instagram shopping, Instagram stories, that sort of stuff. For you, that has nothing to do. You're not picking up a client because of that. But LinkedIn is business to business. So if you're trying to basically reach someone, whether it's for a site, whether it's for a relationship, to hire someone, to fire someone, whatever it is, LinkedIn is the place to be. And there's a lot of, over the past 5 years since Microsoft acquired them, LinkedIn has basically became the identity platform. You can do everything you want on there. There's the sales navigator that competes with Salesforce, that you can hire people. 10 years ago, it was the glorified online resume. Now it could be the hub for your business engine, for your relationship engine, and really for your deal flow. So, just to run through, these are stats. Obviously, 37% of 30 to 50 year olds use LinkedIn daily. That number is growing every day, every year. The average time spent is almost 7 minutes, which is pretty good. I mean, that's beyond just scrolling the home feed. So who's on LinkedIn really? Your clients, your employees, your competitors, most importantly. Your competitors' clients, probably the most important thing. And then your competitors' employees. And I'll kind of let Dave talk about why all these are important right now.
Okay, so hey everybody, I'm David Cobb. I'm from Orlando, Florida. I'm the founder and principal with my partner Janet of Archon Commercial Advisors. I'm not just here to tell you about social marketing. I actually execute in the real world. We run a successful brokerage firm. We're lucky to be in the Sun Belt during these times. We rep everybody from Margaritaville nationwide. We work with DeBartolo. We work with Karen Hutton. So we have a good platform of tenant rep, landlord rep, and development. So why I'm here is a couple of years ago, I had to rebrand. I had an amicable business divorce with my partners, and I had to rebrand the entire company. So I had to create a logo, a website, branding, and everything in a matter of months. And that kind of led me down the rabbit hole of social marketing and LinkedIn. So I just started writing, blogging, vlogging. It all just compounded. I found out that I have a skill for writing, and now I wrote a book on LinkedIn that's being published as of now. It's going to be available for sale at the show. And I did it with a focus on commercial real estate. So getting into it, we talk about why LinkedIn is important. Now, I'm not saying it's the end all be all, you're going to do all your business on LinkedIn. I mean, it's definitely a tool for you to ultimately get some sort of in-person interaction or a Zoom call or something where you can connect and land the deal and monetize. But if you're not using LinkedIn and your competitors are, I promise you, you are at a fundamental disadvantage, and I'll tell you why. Because one, if you're not on there, your clients are, okay, and they're going to see that that other people are relevant, other people are doing deals, and they're not going to see you. There's a reason why Coca-Cola spends billions in advertising per year. We all know what Coca-Cola is, but it's about attention, market share, and staying in front of people. So you've got your clients, you've got your employees, okay? So I don't know how many of you are in the brokerage game, but all of you are in some sort of business that have employees. And the easiest way to take competitive marketing share in commercial real estate is to take a competitor's employee. You don't want to take the account. You take the employee, all the accounts go with them. But there's a flip side to that coin too. If you're not on there and they take your employee, then you're going to be the one left out in the dark. So it's also a great recruiting tool for people that are looking to hire. Carl, like you got to hop on there and use like the sales navigator to find your people. I'll show you some really cool stuff for Resquared. Same with Tyler. I mean, if you guys are like I put one guy in my book that runs a staffing firm out of Dallas. It's called Frontline Sourcing. He swears by it. He finds all of his accounts and all of his employees off of LinkedIn. So with you guys growing 2 tech firms, I highly suggest that you figure out how much you can optimize it for you. But like he said, it's always customizable for what you need, who you need to target, and all of that functionality is sitting there. And we're talking about for hundreds of dollars a month, not the thousands that a billboard would cost. If somebody offered me $1 million in free billboard advertising around Orlando, I would turn it down just to keep my LinkedIn, without a doubt.
And to Dave's point about customizing for you, and when he says he created a bunch of content, he's not the typical executive that's going to jump into this and be gung ho about doing video interviews, creating a podcast, writing blog, eventually writing a book. It's a commitment. It is, but for a couple $100 a month, targeted advertising on LinkedIn can get you in front of people based upon the company they work for, the company they used to work for, the connections they have, the executive level they're at, what their income level at, how much money is the average medium household income. Do they own the company? Are they executives? So all these things are at your fingertips. So the content is created basically for reverse engineering. Who do you want to make sure that you're in front of? So if you're trying to get a Hugh Magoo's, or you're trying to get a Chick-fil-A, or you're trying to get the best talent at JLL or a competing firm, you know exactly what needs to be put out there, and you can make sure that content is in front of them for relatively small budget, traditional marketing wise. Yep. So getting into that, I'll let kind of Dave go here on what the best practices were for him in terms of how to successfully use LinkedIn.
Okay, so all of you out there are probably saying, okay, that all sounds great. I'm a commercial real estate executor. I'm running a tech firm. I'm a developer. I'm running an architecture firm, whatever. I don't really know where to get started to write or make a video. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you is to be on there, you're probably going to need to do one or the other to create solid content. And if you do both, you're going to be very dangerous. So those of you that say, I can't necessarily write, I hate writing, whatever, it's really easy. Just set aside a couple $100s a month and hire a ghostwriter. It's very easy. You send them an outline, they'll put together a blog, you prepay for words in advance, and you've got your content buttoned up, okay? A good company can also create you infographics, it can create different types of specialized marketing assets, and then if that's the writing side, and for those of you that don't want to write, go over to the video side. That's where Matt comes in behind camera over there. You can create motion graphic videos, you can create vlogs, you can do a vlog and interview people, take that vlog, send it to a ghostwriter, have them write you a blog about that interview, take that vlog, cut it up and post it so it's videos, and then you can take that vlog and take the audio and turn it into a podcast. So you can take one video and turn it into 5 different types of marketing assets for a relatively inexpensive cost compared to, for what we make on our commercial real estate deals, a couple $100 a month to augment your personal brand and your marketing, which will directly lead to in-person. You want to lock down the relationships when you come to a show like this or you take someone out to dinner, but you can touch them 20 times before you get there.
And to Dave's point about the deliverables, let's say you have a client who owns a restaurant, a bar, whatnot, you have a great relationship with them. Not only can you go there and record the video, bring in someone to interview, do a video, cut that into a podcast, have clips, but you can turn that 1 hour of their time, or your time, which is very valuable, into 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different deliverables. And what I mean by deliverables is, like I said, video assets, graphical assets, audio assets, not only for you, but if it's a restaurant, if it's a site that they have a marketing, that's a great amplification for them to take the advantage of your channels and your relationships for the client. So your time is valuable. This is not something that you're going to have to dedicate 10, 12, 15 hours a week to. This could be very strategic, 3 hours a week that can get you content for 3 months.
Yeah.
So take that into consideration when Dave talks about it. But my biggest thing on this slide that I always talk to Dave about is the perpetual relevance. Like when you're out of sight, you're really out of mind. And I'm not saying you got to post every day, twice a day. A lot of times the algorithm kind of punishes people that overpost and spam the feeds. But if you're strategic with what you're doing that week or what you want your competitors or your clientele or the deals that you're trying to get to know, you will be the top of the feed correctly. And then if you're not, then you can throw some money behind it and target those that you actually do want to reach that aren't already connected to you.
Are you better off just commenting on other people's posts or posting yourself?
So two things. The algorithm,
great question.
The algorithm really, really loves comments. Okay, comments are obviously more time intensive than just clicking like or even the hearts and the celebrate and all that stuff. So there is a ranking of, okay, if you comment on someone's post a lot, their posts are going to show up and their friends are going to see yours because the algorithm thinks that you guys are connected. So
it customizes your feed.
Yeah, it will tailor the feed and really the connections in your world, in your orbit, to whoever you're interacting with the most. So like is the lowest totem pole. The celebrate is higher, the heart is a little higher, the comment is the ultimate thing, the share is even better. So if you share that comment, all of a sudden, let's just say you have 5,000 connections, you share someone who's got 300 connections to your 5,000, now your world is expanded and their world is definitely expanded. So I would say the more engagement you can get on, not on just your content, but the people that you want to be in front of. So let's just say there's a competitor or a friend that works in another company and you want to be seen by the people that are connected with them. Interact, comment, engage with that, and the algorithm will reward your own content.
In my book, it has a sports theme to it because I play basketball. I kind of made a little like a little 4-step process to it. A simple like is one click. That's like a free throw.
Yeah.
A hover emoji is like a heart or a celebrate or an insightful. That's just a normal jump shot. A comment is a three-pointer, and then a reshare of your post is a three-pointer you get fouled on, you hit the 4-point play. It's pretty elusive. So that's kind of the way that I look at it. The more you comment, the more you put stuff out there, the more that's going to come back to you in terms of followers and everything else. And here's something else that's really interesting too. The way that they say it tailors your feed. So if you find somebody that you want to go after, right? Like I actually looked at your feed this morning. I could see everybody that you interacted with. So I can see what you care about, who you know. I can see if I know those people, or if I really wanted to get psychological on you, I would go get to know someone first and make them like me, and then have me introduce them to you. And so it's an unbelievable way to mine intel. I do a lot of psychological shit. So I like the relationship building and all that. So it's an interesting way to research your targets.
It's another way towards a warm intro in person. So I hate to say it, like to Dave's point. You have icebreakers at events. Maybe you don't know them well. You've kind of seen them. They're connected. You've heard their name. But if you spend 7 minutes a day on LinkedIn, 7 minutes maybe on their profile, their posts, you know exactly what topics to bring up, what clients to bring up, what companies to bring up, what potential connections you guys have in common. It just makes the entire real life process a little bit easier. And also, to Dave's point, the warm intro is very powerful if you know exactly who you're trying to get in front of.
Hey, tell them a little bit about content cadence and how many times a week. I'm sure they want to hear that.
Yeah, so like I said before, this is not something that I want you to waste hours and hours and hours on. The average person, as I mentioned, spends about 7 minutes on LinkedIn. If you could do 3 times a week, that would be great. Okay? When I say 3 times a week, posting a picture, hey, I just met this client, or hey, just had this great thing, or hey, this is a motivational thing. It's very varied, but you have to understand what your goal is. So the cadence doesn't need to be 5 posts a day, or 6 posts a day, or 10 posts a week, whatever it is. I think the minimum is 3. If you can get to 3, and that can be a mixture of sharing an article, or sharing another post, or a photo of what you're doing, or if you're getting really into it, a video of you and a colleague, that would be amazing. But don't think that this is going to become a full-time job. Your full-time job is your full-time job. This is just amplifying what you're already doing.
Yeah. It's kind of like genres for movies. You don't want to put out all reality television shows of you out at the bar with all your commercial real estate friends, but at the same time, you don't want to put property listings all the time. That would be like watching commercials all day. So you got to put some interesting stuff out there, some stuff that shares knowledge, tips for your audience, but you only do it 2 or 3 times a week, and you do it right and spread it out. It's not going to cannibalize itself either, because if you post 5 times a day, people are going to get tired of it, and all the posts are just going to be flat.
Yeah, better content is better than more content.
Yep.
One quick thing I wanted to throw out there from my experience has been, it's not always a direct correlation to how much work you put into a post and how much interaction is. The market decides, so I find myself overanalyzing what I'm going to post.
Yeah.
I think my advice for everybody is I think Gary Vee talks about document, don't create.
Yes.
So don't put pressure on yourself to have this pristine
Exactly.
PhD thesis, because you never know how people are going to react.
Exactly. Capture, don't create. Because when you try to create, it comes across as overproduced. It's not real. It's not authentic. At the end of the day, we don't want you to go out of your way to create the content. If you're somewhere, take a photo, take a video with a person, make it something you would share with your family. But it has to be authentic enough to you to actually accomplish not only what you think we're going to do, but to your point, you don't know what's going to be a hit on your audience. You might have some indication. Okay, every time I post something about this, I get a ton of engagement. But you got to start somewhere.
Yep. So this slide is David versus Goliath. It's about when I first got into this with my small marketing budget at my little boutique firm in Orlando, going up against the JLLs and the CBs of the world and all that. Next slide, please, Alex. So basically what we did was I really analyzed how I wanted to do this and how to approach it. And what I realized is, believe it or not, us boutique firms with less money have a pretty good advantage, okay? The reason being is that if you ever look at the content that, and no offense to my friends at JLL, CB, Cushwake, all the big stuff put out, a lot of it is limited. They have marketing departments, and they have multiple relationships that if they post one thing about one client, it could very easily make another client mad, and they can't touch more controversial issues. So you don't really see corporate logos out there influencing the social marketing and CRE digital marketing world as much as some of the smaller voices and leaders. And as a part of that, I'm going to share a couple of kind of tactical hacks and secrets that I've used over the years that I think you'll find very interesting. Carl Brinkman's up there. He's going to be the first one. So tell me this: when you guys hear someone's name that you want to research, how many people type them into Google? Okay, so how many into like Facebook, LinkedIn, like whatever? Okay, so on the Google search, here's what I want to tell you. Whatever LinkedIn is doing, anybody who Googles your name, as long as it has something to do with you, commercial real estate, your company, your business, it will be at the top. If all of you guys wanted to pull out your phone and type your name and your company name, I will bet you money that your name will be in the top 3. So Carl Brinkman re-squared. Anybody who wants to look up Carl, the first thing they get to click is his LinkedIn profile, okay? So this is probably going to be new employees. This is going to be potential clients, all that. So anybody that doesn't think LinkedIn is important in terms of a first impression or a first relationship, must not have much respect for Google. Okay, so that's one thing. Same with Jennifer Frank, my friend with Segovia Partners. You put in her commercial real estate or her name, the same thing. And then with Stacy Mooney, I mean, she's obviously done some SEO stuff with Retail Live and paid for it, but she's still number 3. Okay, so in terms of that, my recommendation is if you don't necessarily want to post nonstop and go into all this, at a minimum, make your LinkedIn a solid static business card, okay? Because if somebody goes on there and they see the standard background and you have no bio, and that's called a skeleton page, I would rather have you delete your LinkedIn and not be on there than have a skeleton page. Because what it does is it just makes you look like you're half-assed, is what it is. So you gotta have that first impression. It's your new resume. Nobody sends out resumes anymore. They just send out their LinkedIn. So the other thing that's really cool that you guys might not know, if you want to pull up your phone, to the right of the search bar on LinkedIn, there's a QR code. Every single one of you that signs up for LinkedIn gets your own free QR code, okay? You don't have to go have it designed, whatever. You click on that, you can take that, export it to a PDF, screenshot it, turn it into a JPEG, whatever you want to do, and add that to all of your marketing literature. There's no reason why, as of right now, with the way digital technology is going, with links and QR codes, there is no reason why any piece of static marketing literature cannot be turned interactive or immersive. So you can link that to a blog, you can link that to a LinkedIn, you can link that to a video, you can link that to a sign-up sheet for a CRE tech summit, the whole deal. So that's just a free piece of marketing, that's a free marketing asset that a lot of people just don't know about that sits there on LinkedIn. Okay, so, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about real quick on the secrets and hacks is, do any of you know what Sales Navigator is? Are any of you using it? Okay, good. Are you using it? Okay, we'll fix that. We'll fix that, Carl. Don't worry. So Sales Navigator, and I'll let Alex chime in a little bit on it too. It is basically LinkedIn's CRM software, but it's directly integrated to the entire system. Okay, so here's an example of how you could use that. Okay. So let's say that you've got your, Professor X and Magneto, your biggest competitor, right? You want to take his clients. He comes after yours, she comes after yours, whatever. So what you can do in Sales Navigator is you can go in and you can track them. You can plug them into your Sales Navigator, and you can see that anytime anybody in their network changes jobs, that you'll get a notification. So if somebody in their organization changes jobs, one of their clients changes a job, you get a notification that happened with whoever you want to target. And this is what I think is really cool. This is the last one I'm going to talk about. So this is introduction paths. I put Tyler in there. Okay, Tyler right here. So now I just met Tyler yesterday, and I'm excited about working with them. They're a Florida-based tech firm with 3 Squared. And so Carl Brinkman's one of my friends that just started there. So I wanted to see, now I have a lot of followers. It's not normally going to be this much. I have 20,000 followers. But my introduction path to Tyler is there are 570 people that Tyler is connected to that I'm connected to. So I can go get that warm intro. Now, you can actually break it down for more. Okay, so I can look at who worked with Tyler to see if I know them. I can say who's working with him, or I can look at 41 people who went to school with Tyler to try and find a commonality, and then go after him with oh man, I played pickup basketball with your buddy from blah, 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 and get that warm intro. So introduction paths are cool. Sales Navigator has a ton of functionality. I'd recommend signing up for it, and you have to sign up for LinkedIn Premium, okay? I didn't put this in the thing, but one of the main reasons you want to sign up for LinkedIn Premium is with LinkedIn Standard, all that you get to see of people who have viewed your profile is the last 5 people. That's it. If you have LinkedIn Premium, you can see everybody who's viewed your profile for the last 90 days. So if you are targeting someone and they go look at your profile, you probably want to know if that happened. But the scariest part would be, imagine if your dream account looked at you and 2 days later you didn't realize that, they're just gone. You'll never know that they looked at you. So to me, I want to know who's researching me, because I'm putting myself out there and I want to see if it's being effective or not. So LinkedIn Premium's a must. We'll turn it over to questions
Yeah, we
now.
kind of ran through that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're a little time pressed. Go ahead.
I have a question. So what are your thoughts about recycling content? Like how, if you posted something, years in the past or whatever, when is it okay to recycle it? How long does it like?
So my cadence with that is usually about over a year, because I think a lot of people, it's just like everything else. You always think everyone's thinking about you. That's not true. Yeah. But you can't post the same thing you posted last week. You can't post the same thing you posted last quarter. I tend to wait a year, and when I mean a year, that's recycling, basic stuff to your business, basic stuff that you believe in. If it worked the first time, think about how many more followers or connections you have a year later, and all these new people, this new audience. Maybe it's a new job, it's a new industry you're in. If it worked then for a smaller crowd, it's going to work then for a bigger crowd. So I try to a year or so.
And how would you do that tactically? You just scroll through your posts, or should I be like setting a doc that shows the posts?
So I like to use third-party software as well, whether it's Buffer, Hootsuite. There's a lot of them. Yep. And the analytics you get from there are a little more in depth than you're going to get on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or whatever you're using. Talking to Dave and professional space, when I talk to professionals, like Instagram is for family, it's for brands, it's for your hobbies, your interests. I recommend everyone get on Twitter and LinkedIn, and those are the only two. For B2B approach, for building your personal brand, your business brand, who you are as an executive, who you are as a founder, maybe. Those are the only two that I recommend.
Instagram's catching a little fire in CRE too.
But most people spend their time on there for, if I'm a golfer, I look at golf stuff. If I have kids, I look at kids stuff. I want to buy some brand. You don't want, like I said, it's attention. You want to be on the platform for what their intention on Twitter or LinkedIn is to learn, is to connect, is to develop, business or bring in clients.
Yeah, it's where more of the elite thinkers are. I mean, Instagram's to maybe show off that you're out with people and tag them and maybe give them an attaboy. I'm not saying ignore
Instagram at all. If you have great visual content, like we talked about earlier, if you're recording videos for podcasts and you have a company page or you have a personal page that is geared towards business and you have a business following, make sure it's on there. I mean, it's the best. Facebook and Instagram, in terms of their ad platform, in terms of their targeting, is number one. I mean, the stock price is at all-time highs for a reason. LinkedIn is getting better, but Microsoft just acquired them 5 years ago. So everything that Facebook was doing 10 years ago, Microsoft is starting to do with LinkedIn, and it's getting really good. So the Sales Navigator is case in point. What you had to do, 10 years ago on Google, 20 years ago by the Rolodex, you can do in 10 minutes. And okay, if I reach out to that person, that's a warm intro, boom.
And for me with recycling content, if I look skinnier the year before, I'll recycle it, but if I don't, I won't. I mean, I think what you're asking is what's the best way to catalog the content so you can reference it quickly and recycle it? Get a good content calendar. I mean, okay, for a guy like you that has a ton of stuff going on, you want to have a content calendar to where 2 weeks out, and listen, I'm trying to keep up on this too because I'm so busy, but I'm a couple weeks ahead on my content calendar. You want it to where 2 weeks are going to go by. You're not scrambling to post. You're not in the middle. You're not hopping out of a meeting between an hour to think. You want to have it all, like sit down on a weekend, get 10 posts done, and then have them to where it just through Hootsuite or Loomly or one of the content calendar automation processes that it just posts for you, right? And then you hire an intern or an in-house marketing person.
To Dave's point about this, when we talk about this is content that is not timely. This is content that can go out basically any day, the next month. It's evergreen content that is catered to what your industry is, what your job is, what you're doing, but it's not a day-to-day thing. What Dave's saying is if you can do that, take one Sunday out a month, one Sunday out even a quarter, and just schedule it out once a week, twice a week, that enables you to take a step back when you're at a retail live like this and focus more on being in the moment and capturing content in the moment, not creating content. And you don't have to worry about, oh, I didn't post this week or I didn't do this and all that. You can get back to, okay, wow, that's actually good. We just met this guy. Let me post a photo of that interaction. Or I heard a great quote or a great fact I need to put out there. That stuff just allows you to not worry about it.
Yep.
It allows you to automate, all the stuff that's going on. And we talked about engagement. If you can do that, then you know exactly what works because you're gonna have data. I recommend Loomly, Buffer, Hootsuite. There's a ton of them. They're all a little different based upon what you're actually doing and how many platforms you're using. But definitely check it out. Definitely LinkedIn Premium for sure. It's all about analytics at the end of the day. I don't let the data override me because it's a gut feeling too. You know what's going to work, but you kind of let it guide you a little bit to, okay, that worked really well in the past. My numbers were through the roof. Let's do it again.
And another thing to kind of add on to that with the calendar, the thing that's cool about that, right? Once you get like a month ahead, okay, something cool will come up. You'll close a deal, you'll land a new account, you'll win an award, whatever. So then you just take that post, plop it in there, and just stack everything out. So then you're out further. Bring in 3 new things, then you don't have to worry about it for 3 weeks later, and then you can do it on your time. And I mean, I would suggest maybe, I'm yet to do this with my young guys that help me with my marketing, but I'm going to do it soon. Go do a little weekend retreat, make it a team building thing, make it creative, and put down it's kind of funny that you're doing digital, but put down your cell phones and get on a computer and actually create content, and so. Yeah, exactly.
And another thing to that, so say you have a piece of content that did really well a year ago, and you're coming to a conference like this, what I would do is take that piece of content and set up a paid targeting campaign, geofence the convention center, target the companies that you want to see the content, and all of a sudden you knew it worked on your organic feed. Now if you put $500,000 behind it for a 3-day spend that's only in this conference room that people are attending retail live, you're guaranteed to see views, and maybe when you're getting cocktails later, hey, I saw that was great. And all of a sudden now the icebreaker and your intro and the copy and the content you're trying to get out there makes it easier for you to get a deal or secure that new relationship or whatever it might be.
Maybe explain target marketing to them a little bit more real quick.
Yeah, so on LinkedIn, it's a little different from everywhere else. Unfortunately, the personal stuff, you can't really throw a lot of money behind. It has to be from pages. So pages can be company pages, they can be personal pages. Dave has a page for his book, for his company, and obviously his personal profile. So you can set up objectives, different campaigns based upon what you're trying to achieve. It could be I want video views. It could be I want leads. It could be I want to hire someone. It could be just clicks to your website or conversions to sign up for your email newsletter like Dave just launched. All these different campaigns can be set up on LinkedIn, and the targeting is such that it's, like I said before, it's connection based, it's company based. It could be list based. So if you have a huge email list, upload that. If you have a huge phone number list, upload that. There's also tracking pixels you can put on your company website, or on your personal website, wherever you want to do it. So anyone who visits your company website, even if they don't know you, you can retarget them with content. It's just like you see every day probably. Everyone always thinks that their phone is listening to them and all that. It's not. It's your actual browsing habits and your connections. So the algorithms and the ad platform knows how to get your content in front of the best person for the most bang for your buck. At the end of the day, these are businesses, these are publicly traded businesses, and they want to make sure that what you spend equals positive results. So there's a lot of different campaigns. It's pretty intricate. You can get, we were talking about a car wash the other day. We have targeting that can do weather. So if it doesn't rain or it does rain, the ads aren't running. Stuff that granular can be targeted. So it's pretty crazy.
I used to be on LinkedIn probably like once a month and stuff. Never
Yeah.
Too much on social media, and then you go back onto it again. You see a lot of people that are connecting with you that you really don't know. After reading your book, I'm out there a lot more now. Thank you very much.
Yeah. He was like one of the first people to read my book.
Do you recommend just connecting with everyone or select connections? What do you recommend for that?
Want me to take this?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a difference between connections and followers.
Yep.
Okay. You can have up to 30,000 connections. Okay. Every single one of you has probably seen somebody on LinkedIn that puts out horrible content that has 30,000 followers, okay? Or doesn't do anything that has 30,000 followers. The way they got there was just clicking away. Click, 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 click. That you can do up to 150 a day. And admittedly, I did that too, but I was doing it to my competitors. It was all commercial real estate. It was strategic. I wanted to click off all of my competitors and friendly competitors' contacts because I wanted all of them watching me. I went on Bobby Paltis. Click, 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 click. A local Orlando CBRE broker, my competitor. Click, 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 click. So you want to do that strategically. I wouldn't suggest doing it the way I did it because LinkedIn's kind of changed since then. They spam you more now.
What you definitely want to do is go to your settings and your profile and make sure that following is active.
Followers.
So there's 2 options for people when they come to your profile to follow you and connect with you. If you actually know the person, I connect. If I'm following Gary Vaynerchuk, for instance, I'm following him. I don't actually know him. I'm not going to connect with him. He might want to connect with me, hopefully one day. But like, there's twofold. I mean, a follow is more of a public thing. There's no limit, and the connections are, like he said, limited to a certain number. It's just like on you probably used to have Facebook. You probably were more active on it. You're limited to 5,000 friends on Facebook, but a company page, a personal page on Facebook is unlimited. Same idea.
Yep. We need to switch your settings to followers right away, and then I would say go ahead and probably. How many followers do you probably have? Like what, a couple thousand followers right now? I think is what I saw. Yeah, I would say probably go ahead and connect for a while. But once you get to like 10,000, you might want to just save those connections for only CRE people, and not just connect with every superfluous person that hits you up on InMail. But I would say for now, get your following up. It'll do a little bit of that, but I would strategically, send out invites to people that, and it will create recommendations for you.
Yeah.
I would just go through the recommendations, put something a little personal. Hey, this is Carl. Blah 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 blah. I wouldn't just spam. But go through that but do it when you've got some dead time. When you're at the doctor's office, when you're at a red light, stuff like that. That's when you do it. This is dead time stuff. Same time when you'd be deleting your voicemails, do it then.
Isn't there a feature where you can connect with everybody in the room?
I think they took it away.
They got rid of it because it was a little creepy. There were some privacy things. Yeah, it was, it was a great idea, and unfortunately, some bad people probably took advantage of it. So
yeah.
Yep. But yeah, listen, this was a quick, very high-level run-through. There's a lot of stuff I can dive down deep. As I said, I've worked with NBA draft picks, the biggest lawyer in the country, Dave Cobb himself right here, authors. So everything is different. There's also something for everyone. There's a platform for everyone. There's a piece of content that is tailored to you. As we mentioned before, don't try to go out of your way and overproduce and create content and make it something that you don't ever want to do again. It's about capturing what you're already doing and getting that in front of the people that need to see it.
Yeah.
And if you do it like that, then it's not going to become an extra part of your day that you don't want to do, or something. I got to post on LinkedIn, or hey, I got to post on Twitter. Use it as a learning thing. Use it as a connection thing, and take it from where we were, like I said, in the 20th century to the 21st century. Because last year was awful. That's never going to happen again, hopefully. But it taught a lot of us the importance of digital and the importance of those connections and taking our offline relationships online to some extent. Obviously, this is great. The events like this are amazing. Happy hours more business is going to get done in person. But what you can accomplish on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on social, on digital in general, is getting better and changing every day.
Yep. So,
I
go
have
ahead.
a question.
Sure.
Where can we find you guys? Because I would be interested in perhaps hiring people to do all of what you said.
Yeah, this is what I do. I have a company that does all this stuff. Dave and I are actually partnering, and Matt, on a company that is just going to be CRE focused.
Yep.
So it is going to basically take everything we just ran through it, and take it off your hands. But at the end of the day, it does take your time. So we could come to you 2 days, 3 days, whatever it might be, sit down, capture content that's going to last you 6, 12 months. And at the end of the day, that's what's really going to take you from where you are to where you want to be.
If there's nothing else, Taj is going to get up and give a quick presentation too on Lease Cake. I'd love for you all to hear about it.
It's about the innovation that we can bring as a software solution. Because as we all know, commercial real estate is the last frontier of innovation. So had this idea over a cup of coffee at a diner, and we created Lease Cake. And it's a client lease portfolio solution made easy for commercial brokers. And so this is what we created. We created a system that allowed you to organize every client, every location, and every lease in the palm of your hands. It's like the back office in your back pocket. We allow you to engage. What does that mean? That means the notifications for renewal options, lease expirations, certificate of insurance expirations are really an opportunity for your clients to get those notifications via email and push with your branding. It's all automatic. As well as connect. How do I have a platform that allows me to not continually step out of text or email, make sure that all of these systems and all the tools and all of your clients and all of your locations and all of their leases are in a way that allows you to live, work, and play very easily. So what does this mean? It's about organizing all of your clients. Every lease, those leases, critical documents, specs, landlord details. You can set up any custom field you like. It's also, mobile tablet, desktop, but it's keeping it very simple, and it's organizing every lease. So we have a whole lease abstraction team. We manage renewal options. We set all of that up for you with critical dates and reminders. These are email and push notifications. Super straightforward, full rent schedules, everything is there. So whether you have hundreds of clients or 3 or a handful, it's making sure that everything's organized in a way that works for you. So great. Who does all the work, right? I mean, you brokers, you're hard charging, you have A time, right? Where's the B or C time? You don't want to take that time. Well, guess what? We do this all. So you just need to send us everything, send us all of your clients' leases, we'll do the full onboarding, and we'll take it from there. So we have a full lease abstraction team, US-based, ex-attorneys, paralegals, real estate professionals. They've done thousands of leases for Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies. So it's really important to make your job easy. So what does this mean, onboarding your clients? Here's what we do. By setting everything up, it allows you to engage automatically. Anything that matters to your clients and to you, right? There could be a personal guarantee that you just know that continues to linger on and they're about to sell their location. Well, that operator doesn't want to still be on the hook for personal guarantees. It's not just renewal options. It's not just lease expirations. There's a whole host of critical clauses and events that are potentially landmines for your clients, landlord or tenants. Who doesn't want to be front and center every time there's a key event coming up? To be there automatically where your firm, your name, your brand is always right there. So it's a matter of making sure that it's your company and it's your face. Automatically, every one of your custom events that your client set up, that you set up, is pushed directly to them. So we're a multi-channel world, right? It's about mobile, tablet, desktop. How do we create a system that allows you to collaborate, not continually stepping out of, great, I need to text, I need to phone, I need to WhatsApp, I need to do all of these things. Well, guess what? Within the application, you can literally comment back and forth. So connecting with your client, connecting with them, knowing that it's you, right? Looking out for them. There's hundreds of different things that you need to talk about, and it's all contained within this application. So again, very fluid, very easy to use, and this is about the innovation that will change, right? So I've had the opportunity to really look at technologies and solutions. So I'm the CEO and founder of LeaseCake, and ultimately, we now have thousands of locations, hundreds of brands, franchisors, franchisees buying LeaseCake, private equity companies doing due diligence before they make the acquisition. They're wanting to engage with you all to protect them, and this is what we've done in a short order of 4 years. So we're VC backed, and we'd love for you to join us. It's a piece of cake. That's how we end it. Go ahead.
There was a landlord that I worked for, and one of their existing tenants missed their renewal option at the same time that we were bringing a deal for a competing tenant. And they wound up negotiating for the tenant to stay, but it wound up costing them $1 million. He had to write a check for $1 million to stay in that location. It was very profitable for them, and they didn't want to lose it, but it's a 7-figure check that they have to write. So very expensive to stay on missing renewal option.
You lose your real estate, man. Can't run a business without real estate. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's super competitive. Not only, brokerage firms, super competitive, but every one of these super savvy tenants, they're like looking for that opportunity to say, hey, listen, there's a supercuts and an end cap here. As soon as something goes awry, can I move in? We hear this all the time. I think, there was a mountain literally out in Park City where the city lost the rights to develop that ski resort because they missed an option to pay $100,000 each year for running that as a ski resort. So it's public information, massive court lawsuits. Well, guess who runs the Park City Mountain and Beaver Creek? Vail Resorts. So those little simple things to allow you to get top of mind. I mean, geez, I think that person's out of a job. But this happened probably 2010, 2012. But it's crazy, right? You can lose a mountain, you can lose an end cap, you can lose an office space. It's nuts. But yeah, we're really excited.
I got another section I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah,
Other than just the renewals, you guys do lease abstracts too, right?
absolutely.
Okay, so I'll tell you one of the, and I think Bobby, Janet, Aaron, everybody else here, I don't know, one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen in commercial real estate is you get into a deal and then you read something in the lease after you put a bunch of time into it, and then you figure out that it's restricted or there's some kind of weird encumbrance on it or something like that. And a really solid lease abstract is something that, one, can save you a ton of time from having to dig through these 70-page documents, and two, can literally save deals as well. So I'm really interested for my team, especially Janet, who handles most of our landlord rep. I help her with it. I love the lease abstract component, especially when you highlight the exclusives and all the other things that could trip you up, down the road, or even when you're working on like a mixed-use project. You need to see what all those other leases say. It needs to be clear and it needs to be understood.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's $1 million oopsie, just like missing your option.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of our customers, I think they've got 150 locations, a Starbucks master licensee, Papa John's, Qdoba, and he says it very well. You know what, Taj? A lease is nothing more than a piece of paper that sits in a drawer collecting dust until it matters. Yep. And that's the problem, right? So that's where we've come up with lease management made easy, and there's so much desire to free up those numbers and those critical clauses that are buried in a piece of paper or on a spreadsheet and have it in ways that you can easily share it with your CPA firm, your attorney, your lender, right? Your deal maker, your real estate broker. Well, thanks very much. Any questions? Any other comments? Well, great.
Great job, Josh. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.